Hello, dear viewer. I am a global nationalist. I support nationalism in my country, India, and in all countries all over the globe. Today is the fourth Sunday of the month, and so I will be discussing about the posts that I've made this month, the videos I've posted this month. I will be giving a summary of each video, and I will share my thoughts as to what I've learned, what I believe are the common uh, commonalities, common things that I can learn that I've learned from making these videos. Now, let's start. The first video was about the Pew Research Center's survey on religion in India. In this survey, they found that they asked Indians questions regarding religion, whether about religious diversity and tolerance. They asked whether they believe that all religions are equal, whether all religions should be respected, whether they would whether they share any religious views with of other religions and stuff like that. And what I found from this in this survey is that Indians support religious tolerance. They are religiously tolerant. They will respect other religions, and they are deeply religious. About 97% of them believe in God. This is therefore a very religious country. Now, some interesting findings of these the survey are that Indians across all religions respect other religions. They don't believe that their religion is superior to others. They don't uh, believe that others should not be allowed to practice their religion. There's no such, there's not that belief is not very prominent in Indians. And in this video, I described why that is. The reason is because um, there are in India, the majority of Indians follow dharmic religions, that is, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. These religions advocate for the equality of all religions. They say that that all religions are simply paths to the same destination, which is God. That all of these are valid and that you shouldn't view your own religion as superior to others. This is not a belief held by Abrahamic religions. Those are exclusivist religions which say that only their religion is correct and all other religions are false. The fact that even Muslims and Christians in India respect other religions and believe in religious tolerance shows that they have imbibed some of the value for religious pluralism that Hindus, Buddhists, and other dharmic communities have. If it's possible that if India was a country where the majority of people practiced Abrahamic religions, that we would not have such high religious tolerance in the nation. Now, to just talk more about, uh, so yeah, that's what the first video was about. The second video was on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his influence on nationalism in India. In this, I described how Narendra Modi has impacted India and nationalism in India. I first started by talking about his stint as the Gujarat Chief Minister, and then I spoke about what he's done as Prime Minister. In this video, I talked about how um, basically national pride in India has grown, that people are now looking to buy products that are made in India, making that in the Make That due to the Make in India campaign. The Swachh Bharat campaign has made Indians more conscious of keeping the country clean and other things. And I showed how the reason that Modi won both the 2014 and 2019 elections is because of his emphasis on nationalism. For example, the 2019 election was won by him due to a large part to the Balakot airstrikes that he launched against Pakistan in 2019. He had previously launched surgical strikes against Pakistan and also opposed China's infringement on Bhutan's territory in Doklam. So his willingness and his ability to oppose India's adversaries and enemies proved to people that he valued national security, and he used this to bolster his nationalist appeal, and this helped him win re-election. And so that's and we can also see how um, Indian movies have become more nationalistic, not just in Bollywood, but in other in uh, film industries like the Telugu film industry and others. They're becoming more patriotic, putting India in a better light. And yeah, that's basically what I said for that video. In the third video, I discussed the conflict in Afghanistan between the Taliban and the Afghan government. In that video, said that I basically explained briefly the history of Afghanistan, which from the 18th century onwards, I started with talking about the Durrani Empire, which was founded by Ahmed Shah Durrani, and I explained how this empire established Sunni Islam as the dominant religion in Afghanistan, and it helped unite Afghans of different tribes and ethnicities. And then I spoke about the Anglo-Afghan wars, where um, at first, the first Afghan Anglo war was because Britain, which was ruling India at that time, feared that Russia, which had expanded its empire's borders to the borders of Afghanistan, would invade Afghanistan and attack India. So they waged war against Afghanistan and removed the ruler of Afghanistan, Dost Muhammad Khan, and replaced him with a previous ruler of the Durrani dynasty, uh, Shuja Shah Durrani. Now, Shuja Shah Durrani was very unpopular amongst Afghan people, and so they removed him from power once most of the British troops had left, and then they massacred the remaining British troops and reinstalled Dost Muhammad Khan on the throne. And then Afghan the British again attacked Afghanistan and the Second Anglo-Afghan War, and this time they were defeated, but Afghanistan agreed to become a protectorate of the British. The British would control Afghan's foreign affairs, and Afghanistan would maintain control over its own domestic affairs. Now, then skipped a few decades and went to the Soviet Afghan War in the 1979 to 1980s. And I talked about how America and NATO as a whole created the Taliban and Mujahideen to fight against the Soviets, and they eventually defeated the Soviets. And America abandoned them afterwards, and this caused Afghanistan to enter a civil war, which ended in 1996. when the Taliban took power and established the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. A few years later, Al Qaeda set up a base in Afghanistan under the Taliban and launched terrorist attacks, one of which was 9/11. This caused the US to invade Afghanistan, remove the Taliban from power, and then have elections. A president was elected by the people, the Afghan people, and then uh, I spoke about how the Doha Agreement that was signed by Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, and the Taliban in 2020 uh, gave a agreement to for that the U.S. would leave Afghanistan and that the Taliban would not engage in violence. And once Joe Biden took over as president, the he failed to follow the uh, promises made by US in the Doha Agreement. And so the Taliban has started attacking the Afghan government, and now there's a full-blown conflict occurring there. This now I then talked about, but tried to examine which party, if any, could protect Afghanistan's national interests best. I showed how the Taliban are controlled directly by Pakistan and indirectly by China. I used this as evidence that if the Taliban took power, then they would make concessions to both these countries, which would put them at a superior position compared to Afghanistan. However, because the Taliban is a fundamentally Islamic movement and the Afghan people are largely Muslims, we can expect that the Taliban will protect Afghans' religion and culture, although they won't protect the Hindu and Buddhist heritage of Afghanistan. So there is some plus points to the Taliban taking power, but also many negative points. Then for the current Afghan government, I said that they are the only legitimate government because they were the ones who were elected as per the Afghanistan law. However, they are a bit disconnected from the people. They're uh, very subservient to the West, and so they also are not perfectly nationalist. And so, in this, both the two parties are not thoroughly nationalistic. So I can't take a stand as to which one would serve Afghanistan better. I just hope that whatever happens between in this conflict, that Afghanistan's national interests will be protected. In the fourth video, I talked about the congressional hearing of Dr. Anthony Fauci, in which Senator Rand Paul asked Fauci some questions. He asked him about the gain of function research that he says Anthony Fauci funded in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which now onwards I will refer to that as the Wuhan lab. And he said that Fauci had earlier said that he did not fund such research in Wuhan, but now he has found evidence from the lab that actually he did fund such research. And I basically said that it became an argument of definitions because although the report doesn't specifically mention gain of function research, it does talk about enhancing naturally occurring viruses to make them more infectious to humans. This is what gain of function is. However, Fauci would not. recognize it as such. And yeah, so then because of he believes that Fauci was lying to Congress, Rand Paul has sought a criminal referral against him. So this shows that Anthony Fauci has not been a nationalist. By if this is true, um, he has allowed and supported research that he knew would endanger the American people, and so I think that he has actually committed an anti-national act, and he should be held liable. So what I took away as a common feature of all these posts is the importance of individuals in protecting the national interests of their nations. For example, Ahmed Shah Durrani is the father of Afghanistan and established the Afghan national identity. Dost Muhammad Khan um, was the ruler who of Afghanistan after the Durrani Empire and ruled well compared to the later Durrani emperors like Shuja Shah Durrani. And Shuja Shah Durrani was unpopular, and so he was deposed. But Dost Muhammad Khan was popular, and so he was reimposed. This shows the effect that nationalistic individuals have on their nations, that the people end up actually supporting them if you are nationalistic. Then I talked about um, Narendra Modi, like as the the man himself, how he is the leading figure of Indian nationalism right now, the movement. He has encouraged other politicians to adopt nationalistic stances. For example, after the Ram Mandir judgment, where the Supreme Court has judged that Ram Mandir should be rebuilt in Ayodhya, and political parties which did not support the Ram Mandir movement, like the Congress and others, have now come out in support of the Ram Mandir. This shows that they know that the people of India support this, and Indians, Hindus especially, are no longer shy to express their support and will not vote for politicians who do not support uh, the Ram Mandir, which is a nationalistic cause because it supports the native religion of India, Hinduism. Finally, I spoke about how the Rand Paul by has been an example for other congressmen and other politicians all over the world. Politicians in India are much worse than even the worst congressman in America. At least the worst Indian politicians. There are good Indian politicians, but like most politicians all over the world, most of them are uh, not good. He has done his duties well and has exposed corruption, which is his responsibility as a senator. And finally, I want to talk about the first video I made, which was about religion in India, in which showed how the average individual in India, the average Indian, by supporting religious pluralism, religious tolerance, has actually helped keep the nation united and strong and has prevented um, a breakdown of the country on religious lines. So, yeah, ultimately, nationalism depends on nationalists, and I will continue to support nationalists all over the world. Thank you for watching.